and we're getting ready to start the show.
All right, everybody, welcome into the show this week. I'm Gary.
This is Austin.
And we are Midwest Mics. And as always, Midwest Mics, we are brought to you by DJ Showtime. If you need a DJ for any kind of event, a bar, club event, he plays all music genres. You can contact him at 816-260-2056 or at DJ Showtime KC 34 via Twitter. But if you need an event for a wedding, a bar or club event, even a corporate event, private event, any kind of DJ that you need, check out DJ Showtime. He is the man. I actually hired him to do my wedding. We will never, talk about a product on here that neither of us have used or would not be willing to use. So DJ Showtime, he did my wedding and did a great job, and then did a great job at another friend's wedding that we had. And so just check out DJ Showtime, 816-260-2056, and again at DJ Showtime KC 34 on Twitter. This week we do have a guest here, Brian the Awesome Voice, and welcome to the show, Brian.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. How you guys doing tonight?
Man, it's a great night.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're going to talk some NFL.
Yeah, going to talk
playoff football.
A lot of NFL football, playoff football last weekend. I did go 3-1 with my picks last weekend against the spread. The one I missed, unfortunately, was the Cowboys, but I took KC to cover the 5, and they did.
Yeah, I did too.
Against Indy.
Yeah, I took there was an alternate line that was a minus 11 that I jumped on. I thought Chiefs were going to – I said last week Chiefs were going by I thought they went by like 17. It was 17 and it went by 18. But comfortable win.
Comfortable win. How did you feel about the Chiefs game last weekend, Brian?
Well, the impressive thing was everybody was talking about the one thing that they were worried about was the Chiefs' defense. And the Chiefs' defense stood up. I mean, they rocked it. They immediately set the pace against Andrew Luck, and it set the crowd in the game. And from then on, they just shut them down. They gave up one touchdown. Now, the other touchdown was on special teams, so you can't credit that onto the defense. So this team that they were talking about, that was so maligned and Andrew Luck was just going to run rapid over him. It was going to be a high-scoring game, this and that. We had a guy from Indianapolis last week. We were talking about it. He was saying, how Andrew Luck was. Well, I said that Andrew Luck, he throws 71 or 72% at home and 64% on the road. And dome teams in the playoffs are 12-44, now 12-45 in the playoffs. So, and he played like he was a dome player. So the Chiefs played very well. They played well on offense. And here was the thing. Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes, but he didn't have to throw 4 touchdowns to win. There was 4 running plays that scored touchdowns. They are the first team in NFL history to have the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver score a running touchdown.
I didn't realize.
And they did that. They did that in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about last week on the show that dome teams typically do not do very well in the cold, outdoors.
Right.
That was a little bit expected that Andrew Luck would struggle a little bit. I said, when I was with you guys at RC's around Thanksgiving time, that the Colts were going to come back and they were going to get that final playoff spot, and they did.
Yep.
They ended up coming back and getting it. But, and I did pick, last week on the show I picked against the Chiefs. I picked the Colts just because, the Chiefs playoff demons. I didn't know if they could get over those.
Right.
But then by Saturday, I came around. I was all about the Chiefs. I was tweeting out, hey, Chiefs are going to win. I put up a Snapchat on our Twitter, which is at Midwest Mics, and on our Facebook, which is under Midwest Mics. If you want to check that out, supporting the Chiefs. and I knew the Chiefs would kind of get it done. By Saturday, I felt comfortable saying that.
Well, I knew for sure that they were going to win. I wasn't sure what the score was. To be honest, we hadn't seen Patrick Mahomes perform in a playoff. Yeah, he performed very well during the year. 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Nobody expected. I don't care who you were. I don't care how much of a Chiefs homer you are. Nobody expected that. In fact, a lot of people kept telling me 7-9, 8-8, 9-7. I said that they were going to be 10-6, which if they would have been 10-6, they would have lost the division, and then they would have been where the Chargers were at, playing on the road. But the fact of it is, they overperformed. Patrick Mahomes overperformed, and in the playoffs, he was cool and calm. He didn't panic, and the best play that typifies that was the one where he went back and the Indiana rush was coming in, and he just slowly just kind of he stopped for a moment and just kind of took a step and then went to the right, and then he threw a pass. Most quarterbacks would have been running around trying to find that hole and eventually would have gotten sacked. He just calmly just did his job. And that's all he said. My job is to get the ball to our skilled players. And that's what he did. And we did a great job. And we shut down the running game. And that's all it was.
Yeah, there's no doubt Patrick Mahomes, lit it up on Saturday. Austin, as a Chiefs fan, how do you feel about how Mahomes played Saturday and how the team played and how they are going forward?
So Mahomes played really well Saturday, and like you said, cool under pressure, right? Totally cool. The one thing I didn't expect was Damian Williams playing as well as he did. I thought we might run the ball, quite a bit, cold weather and stuff like that. But
29 yards.
Yeah, and then he also has he's got 4 or 5 catches too.
Yep.
So the deal on that is that it's kind of like when we were talking about it. I was talking about it with someone else today, as far as like running backs in the NFL becoming kind of those elite running backs becoming like an endangered kind of species type deal, because we saw a couple of instances this year where. And even with the Rams, with Gurley going out and C.J. Anderson stepping in, he gets over 100 yards against Dallas.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah, Le'Veon. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So Le'Veon Bell gets off this. Pittsburgh. Connor runs. They don't miss a beat, right? We lose Kareem Hunt. Damian Williams steps in. Boom. So it starts to look like it's more of the system than it is actually the back. But Damian Williams is really, really nice. And the other surprise is that the defense holding the Colts to 13. I never saw that coming. I didn't think the defense was going to step up like that.
Right, and they didn't even hold him to 13 points. It was 6 points.
Yeah, they had the punt. Yeah.
And he missed the extra point.
Yeah.
He missed that 23-yard field goal, which, had he made it, probably would have made it more of a game, because it would have been 14-10 at that point, and they would have been in the game. And because of that, it just they lost their momentum, and it just seemed like.
Honestly, when they blocked that punt, when Indianapolis blocked that punt for a touchdown, I thought, oh no, here we go, Chiefs, another collapse, another Andy Reid collapse in the playoffs, which Andy Reid has done a number of times. That's why eventually he got ran out of Philadelphia, and I was like, oh no, here we go. I looked at my wife and I said that, and this time they didn't do it. They kept the foot on the throat. Andy Reid was more aggressive in this playoff game than he has been in his coach's career. And which we'll talk about predictions here in a minute, but that's why I feel like this Chiefs team is different from other Chiefs teams I've seen here in Kansas City and other Andy Reid teams I have seen in Philadelphia as a Cowboys fan.
Well, here's even the more impressive part. They scored the touchdown. They kicked off the ball. So 2 things happened. The defense for the Colts stay on the field because they stopped the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So they go off for one play. They block the punt. They get a touchdown, and they do the kickoff. But their defense stays on the field. But Mahomes methodically takes them down the field. They score touchdown. So they went back to the difference that they had before the blocked punt. Mm-hmm. So it was 21-7, and from then on, you knew that the Chiefs wasn't going to blow this. And even Patrick Mahomes said, I am not going to blow this. No matter what happens, we are not going to see what happened last year. Because, he was on the sidelines when they blew it in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he said he will not let that happen. And he backs up what he says.
Yeah, so, I feel good about the Chiefs team going forward. Again, we'll talk about predictions here in a minute. We'll move on. Probably the most important game for me of the weekend was the Dallas Cowboys playing at the Los Angeles Rams. Being a Cowboys fan, I told myself that I was not going to get excited. Last week on the show, I picked the Rams to win the game. But again, the fan in me just wouldn't let me calm down. And so by Saturday, I was jacked up. I'm ready to go. I feel like, hey, we got a chance today. But I forgot about one thing. Our head coach is a guy named Jason Garrett. And he is terrible. Hashtag fire Jason Garrett. Make sure you put that on all your tweets and all your posts. Hashtag fire Jason Garrett. He's 52 years old. He has been the Dallas Cowboys coach since 2010. He took over in November of that year as the interim coach. In the regular season, he is 77-59, which is, just above a 500 winning percentage. Postseason, he's 2-3. After this weekend, the two wins. He beat Detroit a couple years ago in Dallas, home game. He beat Seattle.
Everybody beats Detroit at home.
Absolutely, especially in the playoffs. Then he beat Seattle this year at home in the playoffs. 2 losses to Green Bay in the playoffs. One, which Des caught it. We could argue that till the cows come home, but
let's just
Des
say,
caught the ball.
Oh, he did. I thought they came back and they ruled it a catch.
Yeah,
it's late. It's years later.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, after the game was over, where they couldn't do it. But
Yeah.
if they called it today, it would have been a catch.
It would have been. But still, he lost 2 games to Green Bay in the playoffs. The one last year was in Dallas. The catch by the tight end Jones on the sideline.
I thought
barely
it was
drug
Cook.
his.
It
might have been Cook.
Yeah.
Drug his feet. Amazing throw by Rodgers. Amazing catch by him.
Yeah.
And then the Rams lost this year, but so he's 79-62 overall with a 560 winning percentage. I just feel like you're the Dallas Cowboys. You're America's team. We deserve better. We, as Cowboys Nation, deserve better, okay?
You're still America's team?
Than a 500 head coach. And, Jerry Jones said on the radio today, if Jason Garrett would have been available 2 weeks ago, he would have had 5 offers. And maybe he would have, but that's to 5 teams that are okay being 500 and winning games in the wild card round. You're not going to win a divisional game. You're not going to win an NFC championship with Jason Garrett.
Well, here's the thing. When the Chiefs were dominant in the 90s, defensively dominant, Marty Schottenheimer had great teams, but they didn't win like back-to-back AFC titles.
Right.
It didn't happen until just last year, and now we're the first time that we've won 3 division titles in a row. But the thing of it was, he had this say, he had to model, everybody was running through brick walls for him. But after a while, his statement gets stale. And maybe Jason Garrett is getting to that point. Yeah, he's got new guys and everything else, but Dak Prescott is in his 3rd year. Next year, he'll be in his 4th, and so will Ezekiel Elliott. So you don't know what he's going to keep doing. What message is he going to keep saying to keep changing things up? Only person that really could do that was Don Shula. And Don Shula did it forever, and
Tom Landry.
Well, and Landry too, but Don Shula, he was a running team in the 70s, and then with Dan Marino, he became a passing team.
Yeah,
How many NFL coaches does that? Because even Tom Landry didn't do that. Yeah,
No,
he was
philosophy.
able.
Tom
Right.
Landry is the only NFL coach to have 20 consecutive winning seasons.
There you go.
So,
and that ain't. And even Belichick, I don't
hasn't
think,
done that.
No. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'll say
But I
this.
mean,